Hello, Loftus Road. Welcome to Hillsborough. It's Sheffield Wednesday against QPR, and this could be a very, very big day for the R's. A win today will secure QPR's first promotion in over 20 years back up to their first division. Now, the team arrived here about 20 past 1. They were looking quite relaxed. Ian Holloway was down in front of the 7,500 QPR fans signing autographs. Got a great standing ovation. Now, run you through the teams today. QPR's Player of the Year, Martin Rowlands, has been a doubt all week, and Martin Rowlands plays. We'll run you through your QPR side. In goal is Lee Camp. At left back, it's Gino Padula. At right back, it's Richard Edgehill, who keeps his place ahead of Marcus Bignett. In centre back, Clark Carlisle and Matthew Rose. In midfield, Gareth Ainsworth starts on the right, and Martin Rowlands, of course, passed the fitness test and will start on the left. In the middle, it's Richard Johnson and Mark Bircham. Up front, it's Kevin Gallen and Paul Furlong. Substitutes today are Chris Day, Steve Palmer, Tony Thorpe, who's had a nice short haircut, Arthur Naheri and Jamie Curtin. Just run you through your Sheffield Wednesday team. Kevin Pressman's in goal. You have Derek Geary, Brian Barry Murphy, Dean Smith, who's the captain, Paul McLaren, John Stewart, Richard Wood, Terry Cook, Lewis McMahon, Mark Robbins and Chris Brunt. And their substitutes are Ola Tidman, Kim Olsen, Adam Chambers, Robbie Mustoe and Chris Carr. Enjoy the game. Come on, you R's.
To your hats and listen to this noise. Sheffield Wednesday and Queen's Park Rangers race out onto the pitch. Blue and white balloons away to our left-hand side. A few black balloons from the Sheffield Wednesday fans who are unhappy with the current state of the club. They are safe in the second division. Queen's Park Rangers hoping then that after this afternoon they won't have to face the Owls next season unless it's in a cup competition. Unchanged from last week, QPR, as are Sheffield Wednesday. A win here today, as we all know, will mean that the Owls will be playing first division football when the season resumes next August. Players go into communal hugs. Lee Camp, pat on the back from him for skipper for today, Kevin Gallen. Martin Rowlands there, and Mark Bircham, two West London boys together. Big hugs from them. Gino Padula, across to Lee Camp as well, pat on the back of the head for the Argentinian from the young man on loan from Derby County. It's definitely loud inside Hillsborough this afternoon. 7,500 official travelling fans. We know that there are thousands back at Loftus Road for the beanbag, thousands back in London too, listening to BBC London 94.9. Queen's Park Rangers unchanged from the side that beat Swindon last week. It's the third game on the spin that they have remained unchanged, with Lee Camp in goal, Richard Edgehill, Clark Carlisle, Matt Rose and Gino Padula the back four, Gareth Ainsworth, Mark Bircham, Richard Johnson and Martin Rowlands in midfield. Kevin Gallen, already his best season. I spoke to him on Thursday. He said he'd love to score the goal that sent Queen's Park Rangers back into the first division alongside Paul Furlong, who has defied maybe his slightly longer in the tooth years that Paul Furlong has. Still very, very fit. On the bench, Chris Day, Steve Palmer, the club captain, Tony Thorpe, Arthur Naheri and Jamie Curtin. As for Sheffield Wednesday, they're unchanged from the team that lost in the last minute to Luton last week by 3 goals to 2. Kevin Pressman, who is, we believe, possibly calling it quits after this season. Derek Geary, Dean Smith, former Leyton Orient man, of course, Richard Wood and Brian Murphy in the back line for their midfield. Terry Cook, Paul McLaren, Lewis McMahon and Chris Brunt on the left-hand side of midfield. Mark Robbins, evergreen striker, former Manchester United, Norwich, Rotherham, Walsall, Spellin, France, Spellin, Greece for Mark Robbins, and the youngster John Shaw will be their starting lineup. Ola Tidman, Adam Chambers, Chris Carr, Robbie Mustoe and Kim Olsen on the bench, and their player of the season, not even on the bench alongside me, Harry O'Reilly, will kick every ball and will interpret every single incident between now and 4:50 as a few QPR fans Let's have a bit of a goading with some Sheffield Wednesday fans on the far side of the pitch. All friendly, healthy stuff, you hope. Flags being waved, banners being draped over every single possible gantry that they can be, and it's Sheffield Wednesday who prepare to get us off and underway this afternoon. Commentary on BBC London 94.9, and also back at the Beanback at Loftus Road. Big up to the R's there as well. It's Sheffield Wednesday who will get us off and underway for this first half. And don't forget, you can play your part too by texting in your comments 07786 200 949, and we'll keep you bang up to date with what's happening at Ashton Gate, Bristol City against Blackpool, who are currently managerless. It's Sheffield Wednesday who take the kick-off in their right-back position, have it with 23-year-old Dubliner Derek Geary, and they've already broken the offside trap. Flag stays down, QPR defending on their left-hand side. It's into the feet of Terry Cook, tries to skip his way past Gino Padula. Wednesday have it again, slipping it out wide to that right-hand flank. It's dicked forward and mopped up by Matthew Rose, who left-footed will hoik it into midfield. Richard Johnson goes in with a rather rash challenge with Paul McLaren. Both of them fall over, Derek Geary involved too. And it's the throw-in which has gone in Sheffield Wednesday's direction. Will be taken halfway inside the arse half, 30 seconds on the clock. Gino Padula doesn't win the header. It bobbles down to Clark Carlisle, who shimmies his way past one challenge and carries the ball to the halfway line, where Paul Furlong looks to race beyond the marker in the shape of Richard Woods, but he falls over, as does Furlong. Free kick has been awarded by this afternoon's referee, Mr. Mark Clattenburg. Sounds like a cake. Let's hope he doesn't have a pudding of a game. Flick forward again, looking for the run of Shaw, onto the chest of Clark Carlisle. Booms it clear over the halfway line for QPR. Flicked away at the back, though, this time by Richard Wood again. But here comes Martin Rowland, skipping in from the left-hand touchline. Still going. Rowland's shot doesn't take a touch, goes out of play for a goal kick only, which Kevin Pressman will take, now aged 36. You would have thought maybe he's a bit older. He's been around in the game for so long. This is his 477th appearance for Sheffield Wednesday for Kevin Pressman, who had a loan spell at Stoke City, England B international, but apart from that has been a one-club man. Lumbers his way to the ball, and now Fly hacks it clear left-footed over the halfway line. Matthew Rose doesn't win this in the air, but it falls down to Richard Edgell on the edge of the centre circle. Back it goes into the air. Midfield battle this time for Clark Carlisle to win. To Gallen, takes it on the thigh, shafts it out wide to the right-hand side, looking for Gareth Ainsworth. The clearance only finds Richard Johnson. Here's Ainsworth, flicks it nonchalantly, looking for Furlong. Bobbled away only as far as Gallen. Gallen takes a crack as well, which hits some black balloons just to the right-hand side of Kevin Pressman's right hand upright. 2 minutes on the clock, 2 shots, both off target, both for QPR. It's still 0-0, Gary O'Reilly.
It's a good start. They've had 2 shots. All right, they're not on target, but it's posted intention. The surface is a bit slippy, and down on his near side, it's very bare and chewy. And I think if the strikers are slipping, then there's every chance the defenders will slip over as well. And they'll do that when you put them under pressure. Rangers have got to open up the first 20 minutes, half an hour, and really put Sheffield Wednesday under the sword.
Richard Edgell, ex-Manchester City skipper, of course, left-footed, tries to curve it down the left flank for QPR. He can play on either side of the defensive line, can Richard Edgell. This time it sails straight out of play, though, from the 29-year-old, born in Oldham. And it's a throw-in only, which Derek Geary will take. Geary, 116th start for him in his Sheffield Wednesday career, brought in from Cherry Orchard in November '97, but now trying to cherry-pick up front. It's Kevin Gallen, finds Paul Furlong, slaps it to the right-hand side of the centre circle, and Edgell to Gallen again. Pings it out wide to the right-hand side. Here's Gareth Ainsworth, up against 2 challenges. Tries to skip beyond one, but good stabbing challenge from Chris Brunt. Turns the ball out of play. QPR have a throw-in. 3 minutes on the clock. 0-0 on BBC London 94.9. The noise level just dips a little bit, but only for a while. There's Ainsworth. Rolls it back out wide to Edgell. His cross to Furlong. Furlong's had it just over the top of the bar. The flag stayed down, and Paul Furlong maybe had more of an opportunity than he thought. Got underneath the header, and it looped over the top of Kevin Pressman's bar, and it's still 0-0.
It's high and hopeful, the ball in, and I think Paul Furlong will be very disappointed with himself. Just stoops to try and get the head up, and he gets under it and sticks it over the bar. But I'm a big believer in if you can do it once, you can do it again. Keep the pressure up, keep the delivery coming in there. It'll prove plentiful, I tell you.
Gino Padula just stamps on a balloon to burst it. Sheffield Wednesday, are they going to attempt to burst a potential promotion party here at Hillsborough this afternoon? The Argentinian will take this throw in. The 27-year-old Buenos Aires-born player. Now in midfield, Richard Johnson flicks it further forward. Hooked over his shoulder by Kevin Gallen towards Ainsworth on the right-hand side. Run for Gareth Ainsworth. The ball bobbles down to him. Here he goes again. Ainsworth into Furlong. Furlong stabs out a shot. Not yet cleared. It's in the air, and eventually scraped away at the back this time by Chris Carr. Queen's Park Rangers have themselves a throw on the right-hand side. Just didn't fall at the right time to anyone in particular.
Apart from there being a 1-goal to Rangers scoreline at the moment, this is exactly what Ian Holloway would have hoped for in the opening minutes.
Big crowd in here this season. As you'd expect, Ian Holloway saying it's a big club. Sheffield Wednesday have problems. There's a cross which Richard Edghill lances in, doesn't cause as many problems as maybe he would have hoped, but Martin Rowlands picks up possession on that left-hand side. He's picked his way inside 2 challenges. Great skill from Rowlands, still going into the penalty area. Rowlands to the byline, flicks it back. It's mopped up though by Paul McLaren, who has a bit of space to run outside his own 18-yard line and roll it into the feet of Terry Cook, who picks up possession now. Cook arcs it forward, looking for John Shaw, but it's Matt Rose on the cover there, who doesn't play it back to Lee Camp. Instead rolls it forward to Gino Padula, who's dispossessed. Chance for Shaw to break on the right-hand side for Sheffield Wednesday. Only Robbins to aim for in the penalty area. Shaw's cross loops long, bobbles over to this near touchline, and Brunt has it for Sheffield Wednesday. Edghill closing down the space to it. Brunt's cross, right-footed, curved far post. Rowlands on the cover, loops in the air off Terry Cook, and is that going to bobble out of play potentially for a goal kick? It's kept in by Cook, who then gets clattered by Martin Rowlands, and a free kick has been awarded. The referee, Mark Clattenburg, wants to have a word with Martin Rowlands.
I'm not surprised. Stupid thing to do. Yes, you lost possession to Cook. Don't then lose your mind. Completely nail him in the corner. It's a free kick in a dangerous position. You don't want to give those away.
07786 200 949. Shout to the .org message board. Listening on the internet in Brisbane, Australia. Come on, you ours. As this free kick, though, requires a bit of defending. It's curved in, near post, flicked away by Carlisle. Turned further out by Gareth Ainsworth, and Bircham now looks to send Ainsworth down this right-hand side. Wild Thing won't get there, and it's turned into the feet this time of the cover Derek Geary. Geary now, long lofted pass down the right-hand side, just kept in on that far touchline by Brunt. Was he out of play? He's won himself a bit of space. Sheffield Wednesday attacking the Queen's Park Rangers penalty area. Poked out by Brunt. Goal kick, Queen's Park Rangers. And Lee Camp will take it, but having made a very positive start in the first 4 minutes, QPR had to defend for the last minute and a half, Gary.
And they need to defend better. Padula and Rowlands there, coming square on to Brunt. And you're just saying to me, just skin me with one little nick through. You do both players. They've got to defend, one in, one behind, cover. Don't get beat simply. Better defending. Wednesday aren't an issue.
Lee Camp will drive this clear. England under 20 goalkeeper. Scoreline coming in from the Premiership. Leicester 1, Portsmouth 0. Matthew Taylor with an own goal there. There's 2 players down injured. The referee hasn't spotted it. QPR attack down the left-hand side. Head injury. And play will now be stopped so that both physios can race on. Richard Johnson picks himself up to his feet, so he's fine, but the Sheffield Wednesday physio has a little bit more work that he has to carry out. Text in from Leighton on 07786 200 949. Stuart's got in touch with us on BBC London. He's an O's fan, but he says, good luck to Rangers. Could you mention Dean from Wickford, who's listening to 94.9 as his missus wouldn't let him go to the football today? And just looking at that, Richard Johnson, caught with his boot the head of the challenger that came flashing in on him, but he actually led with the arm a little bit, I thought, down on this near touchline, Paul McLaren.
He may well do, but it's up to the officials to see it. The thing is, Johnson's got to be aware if he goes into challenges with McLaren, that is something that's going to take place, especially in a game like here. If you're Sheffield Wednesday, think about it. You don't want Rangers coming here and having a promotion party.
The sportsmanship from Sheffield Wednesday. QPR were well and truly on the attack when the referee blew up for that free kick, but they challenged for the bounce ball, won it. Mark Robbins was caught offside. Leighton Orient 0, Cambridge United 1 in the 3rd division, I can tell you. Wrexham 0, Brighton 1 in the 2nd division. Brighton assured of a playoff place, of course. Swindon 1, Hartlepool 0. They're sorting out who's going to be where in the playoffs in those games like that, with Brighton winning away at the Racecourse Ground. One of 5 away wins so far this season for QPR. As Richard Edghill drives it forward, it's blocked on the edge of the D by Sheffield Wednesday. All of Millwall have got in touch with us on 07786 200 949 to say good luck QPR. We're with Millwall, of course, in the build-up to their FA Cup final, and we'll be there for FM commentary too. As Rowlands cracks in, the shot which just goes wide, and Pressman's left out upright. It wasn't that far away. Pressman was somewhat scrambling across his goal line, Kevin Pressman, and Martin Rowlands, who's scored 12 goals so far this season, looking to make it a baker's dozen.
Good little setup from Furlong, just taps it back into Rowlands' path. He can't get on his favoured left foot, has to take the extra touch. But again, the shots are going in, and it's Pressman who's under pressure.
Clark Carlisle with a good storming header forward, mopped up at the back though by Richard Wood. Wood's header is met in midfield by Clark Carlisle. Bertram goes down after clashing with his own player, and Sheffield Wednesday attack down there, left-hand side. Matthew Rose, though, scuttles across, clears it as far as Richard Edghill. Bertram still down. Looks maybe as if he's got a dead leg from that. He's certainly holding the top of his right thigh. Onto the chest of Gallen. Peels it out wide to the right-hand side. Prathmathema can come on now, and Mark Bertram is down on the pitch at the moment in a little bit of agony.
And I think it's the fact that Clark Carlisle just goes straight through him. Somewhere along the line, there's no communication, or if there is, no one's taken any notice of it at all. You just got to communicate out there. There's a lot of noise. You've got to be positive. You just wonder, you know, has Birch committed himself as he has? And Clark Carlisle's got to sit off and defend whatever happens, not come barreling through there.
If that is a dead leg, the best thing he can do is when you see the challenge again, well, yeah, Clark Carlisle really comes flashing into his thigh and limps to this near touchline. Middlesbrough 1-0 up against Manchester City, and Barnsley 1-0 up against Stockport in the second division. But if he is a dead leg, Gary O'Reilly, and I know you've suffered one or two in your time, the best thing to do is keep moving and keep running.
It is. It depends now. Is it muscle? Is it bone? You know, how much damage is there? Now and again, you get away with just running it off. It is quite literally one of those things. Go on, son, run it off. No, not a problem. And tomorrow morning, it'll like you won't believe. But hey, it's Mark Bertram.
Yeah.
Rangers fan through and through.
First member of the LSA to play.
You can have wild horses in the tunnel, you still won't get him off the pitch. It's as simple as that.
Clark Carlisle this time doesn't win a header. Richard Johnson does. The referee says to John Shaw, who's a bit rash with the challenge in on Richard Edghill to get up after he thought he'd been impeded. Ball sails out of play. Sheffield Wednesday have a throw. 11 minutes on the clock. 0-0 at Hillsborough. Sheffield Wednesday against Queen's Park Rangers. 8,000 travelling army up here. We struggle to get a coffee in any service station on the way up.
8,
it was so busy.
Well, and the rest.
Yeah, exactly. And thousands back at the beanback, thousands back in London as well, listening. Keeping everything cross, digging out those old knickers that you last wore in 1967 at the League Cup final.
Hope they still fit.
Exactly. I think that would be one of the second biggest smile on the face, wouldn't it, if they still fit. The first one, of course, would be if QPR do win this game and are assured of promotion to the First Division. Let's go into the Premiership then. Leeds United against Charlton for BBC London. Will Turner. Throw into Sheffield Wednesday here, which Geary will take. Flicked forward by Shaw again. Matt Rose with the clearance, out of play it sails. The Isles have a throw in on that far touchline. And it will be taken by Gino Padula on that far touchline. And noise inside this Hillsborough Stadium. Geary with the clearance header. So that's Charlton 1-0 up against, well, Leeds United had to score something like 50 goals to stay up in 2 games. It wasn't going to happen. As the throw-in is taken this time by Gino Padula down the left-hand side for Queen's Park Rangers. In midfield, Richard Johnson cushions it back out wide to the Argentinian. Paul Furlong holding up play with Dean Smith at his back. Martin Rowlands goes steaming in. Sheffield Wednesday come away with the ball. Matt Rose cushions it into midfield. Johnson picks up possession, looks for options. He's caught in possession, and Robbins fires it out wide to John Shaw on that right-hand side. Gino Padula slips in with a challenge, and it's diverted out of play for a throw into Sheffield Wednesday. Here's Geary again, slips it down the right-hand touchline, looking for Terry Cook this time, right-footed cross. Clark Carlisle won't get there, Mark Bertram just scraped it away, and QPR have it on the halfway line almost with Paul Furlong. Dean Smith heads it out of play, as another text comes in on 07786 200 949. Matty and Alex in Crowthorne have texted in. Come on, you rip-roaring Rangers. Charlotte in Edgware, come on boys, you can do it, is the message from Charlotte. And David at Loftus Road says, come on Rangers, watching the game. Back at the beanback, listening of course to the commentary provided by BBC London 94.9. Bit of a lull in the last minute or so, Gary.
There is, but what you've got is Sheffield Wednesday really clattering in with some strong challenges anytime there's a Rangers player on possession. Yeah, OK, got to be aware of that, but it sharpens your brain up. Don't dwell on the ball, keep the ball slick and sharp, get those passes moving, and then players are just running around trying to close you down. that is really a good thing for Rangers, because I think when they look good is when they had their first time passing and they got good movement off the ball.
Midfield now, it's shanted back to the left-back position for Brian Murphy now to break forward. Flicks it into the path of Mark Robbins, who's dispossessed by Matt Rose, who shows good strength to burst down the right-hand side, gives possession away. Edghill tries to win it back. Sheffield Wednesday concede a throw on this right-hand touchline, right on the halfway line. Actually came off Brian Murphy last, and out of play it goes for a throw which Richard Edghill will take. In the second division, an important scoreline for Brentford is that Rushden and Diamonds trail Port Vale by a goal to nil. Brentford trying to stay in the second division. QPR trying to work their way out of this division and win themselves the first corner of the afternoon, which will be whipped in from the right-hand side by a certain Gino Padula.
Get this one right and you get the goal you need, and then from every corner onwards you've got Sheffield Wednesday nervous and worried. Make this one count straight off.
Torquay United 2-0 up in their game. They're looking to get automatic promotion above Huddersfield in the third division to join the Throngs in the second division. As Gino Padula will take this corner on the right-hand side, his right hand raised, just a bit of strapping on that wrist. Paul Furlong on the penalty spot at the moment, goes near post, flicked away too comfortably by the man guarding that post, and out of play it goes for a QPR throw.
Cheap corner. I mean, yes, he's gone near post, but he's not given it any height. He's gifted it straight to the first defender. Like I said, get that first corner right, and then you've always got Wednesday worried. Everton
0, Bolton 1 at Goodison Park. And if Bolton hadn't had that little blip a couple of months ago, they've gone on such a great run, they could have been challenging for Champions League places. Now it's Clark Carlisle in the penalty area, can't win it. Shafted straight in the air by Lewis McMahon. Underneath this is Richard Johnson. Edghill trying to win possession back for QPR. Ainsworth does on the edge of the area. Here goes Bircham now, steaming in. Nutmegs Brian Murphy. Bircham back across the face of goal. Gary clears. Edghill has it just outside the penalty area. Looking to tee up a cross. Far post. Furlong there. Can't get it back across the face of goal. How to play it sails for a goal kick to Sheffield Wednesday.
Great little football from Bircham. Nutmegs the defender. Doesn't go for the shot across the face. Cuts it back. Gallen's had the foresight to drift back in and see it. And I tell you what, if it's not little Geary there reading the situation very well, Gallen's got an open shot at goal. That is the bright football that works, and that's the football that's going to get Rangers the goal they're looking for.
Geary's 50th appearance of the season for Sheffield Wednesday. Bolton taking the lead through Juraj Djorkaeff. As the clearance from Kevin Pressman sails forward off the head this time of Brunt on this near touchline into the path of Mark Robbins. Good sliding challenge from Matthew Rose on here. Mark Bircham is balked somewhat in midfield by Lewis McMahon, and a free kick has been taken. Dallas in Hayes has texted in on 07786 200 949 to say, come on you R's, I'm at Rangers watching. How much do you want to say hello to all in the loft? I'll just do it. I think we should do it, Gary O'Reilly.
A couple of grand each.
Hello to everyone in the loft. As it's flicked forward from midfield, Martin Rowlands on the edge of the penalty area. Furlong can't win it. Padula does. Gallen up in the air from him, it loops. Gallen brings it down. Just bobbles away from the man who had that brief spell away from Queen's Park Rangers when he spent in Yorkshire with Barnsley and Huddersfield, but Bircham mops up the pieces in midfield, flicks it into the Wednesday penalty area. Kevin Pressman, wearing a rather luminous orange goalkeeping top, gathers it and rolls it out to Brian Murphy on this near touchline. Stockport 0, Barnsley 2 now in the second division elsewhere. And Barnsley, briefly of course, flirted with the idea of the playoffs, but no longer in contention. Here's Martin Rowlands, left-hand side. He's dispossessed. Good strong challenge from Paul McLaren, 27-year-old from just up the M40 from Loftus Road. That's at Wycombe. This is his 92nd appearance for Sheffield Wednesday. We've lost the last 3 games on the spin. Chris Turner, though, is determined to try and finish the season on a high. A lot of players will be leaving as it's rolled forward towards Shaw. Clark Carlisle struggling for pace. Shaw into the area. Shaw's shot is somewhat scraped. Took a deflection off the heels in the end of Clark Carlisle. Lee Camp gathers and booms it clear.
Not sure, was he?
No.
I'm talking about Clark Carlisle in that case. Didn't read the ball through, got caught the wrong side of the striker and got lucky. Can't allow that to happen.
Gallen down the right-hand side, again tries to angle in across. The ball's going to bobble out of play for another corner right-hand side of QPR. Second of the game on this touchline. 18 minutes played, still 0-0, and there's almost a sliver of sunshine here. As the corner will be whipped in by Gino Padula. We'll be at White Hart Lane very shortly. But Gino Padula will take this corner kick on this right-hand side. Places the ball down. There's certainly some sunshine on the hills behind them, stand opposite us. One hand raised again from the Argentinian. Paul Furlong races towards the near post. Goes far post. Clark Carlisle scrapes a header just wide. And it's out of play. and head in hands from Dean Smith. I think he was doing the defending back there. Just maybe got battered somewhat. It's a goal kick which Kevin Pressman would take. Let's go White Hart Lane then on BBC London 94.9. Tottenham Blackburn. Here's Emma Jones. I'll tell you back at the beanbag that Bristol City lead Blackpool by a goal to 0. And that means that the R's need to get a win out of this one. It's long, lengthy treatment here at Hillsborough for Dino. Let's go to Ashton Gate then for Bristol City against Blackpool. For BBC London, Alistair Durden. I can also let you back at the beanbag that Bristol City, as listeners to BBC London, hear a first goal going in for Bristol City. Bristol City now lead by 2 goals to 0. And you can hear the Sheffield Wednesday fans celebrating.
Well, if you ever needed an incentive, there it was. What ungracious hosts they are.
Well, it's Kevin Pressman who will take this goal kick. You may have gathered, listening at the beanbag, you may have gathered now listening to BBC London 94.9 that Sheffield Wednesday fans saw that scoreline go up and have cheered. I'm sure there will be a lot of reciprocal if it goes the other way, but Sheffield Wednesday attack down their right-hand side. They've got men in the penalty area. Matthew Rose on the cover. And Lee Camp gathers, though, as Matthew Rose just made a very, very telling challenge inside the penalty area. I think Terry Cook has got blood on his face after racing forward. QPR clear their lines.
What a great challenge from Rose. Absolutely vital, and he nails it. Brilliant defending.
Throw in off Kevin Gallen down on this near touchline for Sheffield Wednesday. And there's going to be a score flash going to Bristol City now 2-0 up. And Sheffield Wednesday fans are celebrating that one. And it's going to be taken down on this near touchline as Gareth Ainsworth won't win the header. Flicked as far as Mark Bircham, who gets balked and then clashes a little bit with Lewis McMahon. Lewis McMahon is called to the referee. Just things getting slightly heated there. He was late in on Bircham.
I know, but I think whether Mark Bircham was trying to hug him gently by the throat, I'm not quite sure, but he does grab him by the throat and drag him down. So Birch is every bit as guilty, and he's got to be careful if he tries to do that this afternoon.
Richard Edghill will take this free kick. 21 and a bit minutes played in the first half here at Hillsborough. 0-0.
You know what I think about the Wednesday fans? Their season has been so bad, their team's so poor, that they have to cheer another team's result. Well, that's how bad it is here for them. You've got to feel sorry for them.
Stayed up last week, but we're in danger. They still don't know who's going to own them. And so Mr. Bates is here. It's Richard Edghill. Slants a free kick to the far touchline. It's going to bobble out of play for a goal kick. Martin Rowlands wouldn't get that. Sunshine streaming down now in South Yorkshire. Giles has texted in on 07786 200 949. Come on, you are, says Giles. We all love the boys. My dad at Hillsborough. I couldn't make it, says Giles. Well, stay tuned to BBC London 94.9. We'll bring you all the drama here on BBC London, the real home of London football. Now on the left-hand side, it's Brian Murphy who has it for Sheffield Wednesday. Launches it long again. Clark Carlisle on the cover, misses out. It just bobbles beyond John Shaw, and it's going to be gathered in the end by Lee Camp. But Carlisle's pace just causing concerns marking Shaw at the moment.
Well, he's not marking him. He's not aware where the striker is. Just not there.
Paul Furlong tries to burst into the penalty area. Dean Smith showing good strength there, though. The 32-year-old from West Brom, former Leyton Orient man, of course. 288 appearances for Leyton Orient in his time. 37 goals. Muscles it all the way back to his goalkeeper, Kevin Pressman, who sails it long. Gino Padula stoops under this header. Rowlands won't win it back. It's in midfield. Richard Johnson doesn't win it away from McLaren. Now on the halfway line. Geary has it initially for Sheffield Wednesday, but Bircham snaps in with a challenge to bring it away from McMahon and slide it square to Richard Edghill on this right-hand side. 23 minutes played, 0-0 on BBC London 94.9. It's cleared, but Furlong almost snatches on to the missed kick from the back from young Richard Wood. Now Furlong again goes slipping in with a challenge. Mark Bircham in there too. Sheffield Wednesday come away with the ball though. They have runners on here as they burst through midfield. It's Terry Cook out wide to Robbins, right-hand side. Edge of the Queen's Park Rangers penalty area. Robbins still going. Gino Padula, what a challenge from Gino Padula as he takes it clear. Then Bircham goes down with a foul. Free kick awarded by Clattenburg. Gino Padula had to make sure, otherwise that could have been a spot kick.
He's going away from goal, Robbins, but Padula does very well, stays on his feet, bides his time, and then he just knows that ball's got to be tucked away from Robbins' feet, and he does it. Some good defending, desperate defending. You don't want to do that. What's happening is runners from deep aren't being picked up, and when the two strikers are making runs, they're not making clever, smart runs, they're making straight runs. They're not being thought about.
Clark Carlisle stabs out a big boot, then gets clattered into by Shaw. And it's a free kick for Queen's Park Rangers. Tranmere 0, Grimsby 1 in the second division, which is of importance to Brentford. Grimsby, 50 points as the Bees, would pull themselves further clear, and Brentford would be the team sitting just above the trapdoor now. Chesterfield 0-0. Last we heard, Rushden and Diamonds were trailing, which would be enough for the Bees, but now it's Race and Geary down the right-hand side. Clark Carlisle appeals for an offside, allows Mark Robbins to run away from it. He clips it to the near touchline, into the path of front, and turns it over the bar. But Clark Carlisle stopped, appealing for an offside that wasn't there. Mark Robbins was given 2 or 3 yards.
Clark is trying to take control of the offside situation there himself. He's not the last man, he can't see what's behind him, and he's then looking at the striker. What happens is the player runs out wide right. Clark Carlisle sees him late, doesn't go to pick him up, thinks, hang on a minute, I'll try and play him offside, save myself the run. In this situation, you do the safety thing first.
Lee Camp's clearance rises in the air from Brian Murphy. It's Mark Bircham who picks it up in midfield, a halfway line. Rolls it back this time to Clark Carlisle. Dinks it down the right-hand touchline. No one to receive. It's going to bobble out of play for a Sheffield Wednesday throw. 25.5 minutes play on BBC London 94.9, and it's 0-0 at Hillsborough. 07786 200 949 is the text message service. Our time has come. Rangers going up, says Raj and Rosie in the lower loft as Paul Furlong tries to latch onto this forward ball. Into midfield, it's Scrape. Turning away from trouble is Paul McLaren. Furlong, though, putting him under a lot of pressure. McLaren stands his ground and then runs clear of Kevin Gallen before finding Mark Robbins. Sweeps it back into the path of McMahon. Left-hand side now, it's Brunt for Sheffield Wednesday. Forward to Robbins. Gino Padula on the cover. Just gets enough of the ball and of Robbins to clear it. In midfield, it's McLaren for Sheffield Wednesday. Wide of him, right-hand side, comes Derek Geary again. Shuffles it into the path this time of Cook. Cook's flick, looking for Robbins. Hooks it over his shoulder, gathered by Lee Camp on the edge of his 6-yard box.
But it's Robbins, who's 850 years old, getting between Rose and Padula. Between them, one of them's designated to pick that one up, and there's not enough communication. Either that or there's not enough concentration.
Good strength from Paul Furlong, who's been tugged all over the place there by Richard Wood. The referee has awarded a free kick. It's some 30 yards out of Sheffield Wednesday's goal. It's just to the right of the centre of the D, and it'll be taken potentially by Kevin Gallen. Peter and Tim, listening in Bangkok, have texted in on 07786 200 949. Martin Rowland stood behind this. They say, come on, you ours. Paul Dickoff's got a second for Leicester. 2-0 they lead Portsmouth. Too little, too late. Mark Bircham will actually take this free kick. 27 minutes on the clock here at Hillsborough. Nervy Hillsborough, certainly for the travelling army. 0-0 at the moment. A little paper airplane floats across the picture. Balloon just wafts in front of Gary O'Reilly as Bircham takes the free kick towards the far post. Furlong wins the header. Clark Carlisle back towards the goal. Gareth Ainsworth tries to latch onto it on the edge of the 6-yard box. He gets there. Ainsworth cuts out a cross. Clark Carlisle towards the goal. It's going to be cleared away by Sheffield Wednesday. Only as far as Martin Rowlands and Gino Padula. Rowlands finds Padula. Makes a run down the left-hand flank for the Argentinian. Brings it under control. Still going. Checks back. Right-booted cross. Far post. Ainsworth arriving. Headed away, though. Mopped up by Derek Geary inside his own 18-yard box. And he slats it towards the halfway line where Matthew Rose cushions it back cleverly into the path of Gino Padula inside the Sheffield Wednesday half. Crossfield fist ball. Finds delightfully Ainsworth. Ainsworth towards Furlong. Cut out, though. What a challenge that was. Just to win the ball inside the penalty area by Richard Wood. And out of play it goes for QPR throw.
Great ball from Padula and good pressure from Rangers. What I notice is the fact that Wednesday cannot clear their lines properly. It comes in, it goes out, it comes in, and Rangers are able to keep that in there. That's vital. The more pressure they keep on that Wednesday defence, the sooner they'll get the goal, because I don't believe they can defend particularly well.
Gary O'Reilly on BBC London. Paul Furlong on BBC London too. Doesn't clear it, falls to Gallen. Gallen's shot's going to raise high over the bar and sail into the spine cop away to our right-hand side here at Hillsborough. Still one of the biggest stands in football. When it was a terrace, it was absolutely huge. They used to get a lot up there. Bristol City leading by 2-0, let me remind you. It's Ashton Gates against Blackpool, who are managerless. 0-0 here at Hillsborough QPR against Sheffield Wednesday, looking for the 6th away win of the league season. Ball bobbles out of play. Throwing which will be taken by Terry Cook down there for Sheffield Wednesday. In fact, he's going to allow Geary to take it. Over his head, he rises it, the 23-year-old. Martin Rowlands with the clearance header, but it's gone straight out of play. And it's another throw-in as Sheffield Wednesday advance down that right-hand flank with Cook this time. Cook, former Manchester United youngster, and had a spell at Manchester City as well. Went there with big ambitions after a £1 million move across the city of Manchester. Can't get hold of this as Richard Johnson just launches it clear. It bobbles down. Dean Smith heads it across to this near touchline, or near side, certainly Brian Murphy. Rolls it into midfield. Snaffling and snarling this time is Mark Robins. Trying to latch onto that through ball, but it's an offside flag this time, and Lee Camp is allowed to take the kick out of his hands. Very quick forward. Smith won't get there. Does. Scrapes it out of play. Throwing QPR level with the Sheffield Wednesday penalty area on the left-hand side, Gary O'Reilly.
I think the way Wednesday are playing, they're loading numbers forward to get a counter-attack in behind Rangers. If they can defend properly, retain possession, then Wednesday themselves are open to being counter-attacked very, very swiftly, and Rangers do have the players to do that.
Matthew Rose heads it into midfield. Mark Bircham knew he had trouble behind him, so he finds Richard Edgehill, back edge of the centre circle. Leeds have equalised against Charlton 1-1. Matthew Gallen scoring for Leeds United. Forward it goes to Kevin Gallen just outside the Wednesday penalty area. Here's Gareth Ainsworth on that right-hand touchline. His first touch meant that he had to try and win it back after losing possession. Mark Robins, though, is dispossessed by Clark Carlisle. Richard Johnson, though, can't shaft it over to this near touchline for Ainsworth, and Richard Edgehill, though, mops up the pieces and finds Matthew Rose, who just slides it forward side-footed towards Gallen. It bobbles down to Ainsworth, heads it towards Furlong in the Sheffield Wednesday penalty area, and Wood is encouraged to play it down the right-hand flank, plays it down into the throat of Edgehill to Furlong. In the area, Dean Smith with a sliding challenge. Corner QPR, third of the afternoon.
Good football from Edgehill. He reads the fullback in distress, just drops off 5 yards, picks up the clearance, slides it straight into the feet of Furlong. Furlong's touch is superb, his first touch. Tries to spin off. Trouble is he's on his right foot. He's not so strong foot, but he does get the corner. Rangers with the pressure. They've got to get these in the back of the net. Must make it pay.
Tottenham 1-0 up against Blackburn. Leeds 1-1 with Charlton. Brentford 0-0 with Bournemouth at the moment. They are safe as it stands with that scoreline. Queen's Park Rangers need something here. Bristol leading 2-0. Padula's corner again is not the best. It's hooked away, but straight to the edge of the 6-yard box. Brought down by Ainsworth. Touches it into the penalty area. Still not clear. Padula has it. Right-hand side again. Dinks it into the path of Bircham. That's a low fizzer which bobbles down towards Kevin Gallen. Checks to see whether he's offside. Here's Padula. Padula's cross flicked on by Ainsworth. In the air it goes, and eventually Cook will scramble it clear. Now Sheffield Wednesday have a break on. It's 3 against 2, 4 against 3. Here comes Geary. Has Mark Robins in front of him. Launches it across to John Shaw instead, who scoops it out wide to the right-hand side. The R's back in numbers now as Sheffield Wednesday attack. It's rolled into the path of Cook. Cook's right-footed cross is hooked over his shoulder, just on the edge of his own penalty area this time, and Mark Bircham gets clattered into this time by McMahon. A yellow card has got to be produced to McMahon at some point. That's his second or third offence.
Bircham sees that a mile away. He knows what's coming, he knows how to ride it. Simple. Go back a step and see Wednesday defend. They're not good at defending crosses. They're not good. There doesn't seem to be that dominant presence in the centre of defence. And sooner or later, Rangers have got to keep the pressure up and the goal will come. Don't panic. Yeah, there's some nervous people up and down the place. There's some in here, there's some back in West London. But as long as that pressure keeps there, Rangers will get the goal.
It's QPR attacking down the right-hand side. Edgehill won't get there, though. Division 1 by 5 o'clock tonight. Come on, you ask, is the latest text message on 07786 200 949. Ray and Phil, listening at home in Wembley, say their Rangers through and through as Clark Carlisle almost goes through Shaw, and Robins is offside, doesn't try and latch onto the ball. Chris Turner out of his penalty area, and he's just shouting out a few instructions. Now it's Paul Furlong, flicks it on towards Gallen. Can he spin in the penalty area? Goes towards the far post, scrapes in the shot, saved by Kevin Pressman. First effort on target this afternoon.
Couldn't quite get the angle on the strike he wanted, Gallen, but you could see he was trying to move the defender one-way cut back. Just didn't happen, so he takes the shot. But like I say, with the pressure will come the goal, and Rangers are keeping that going.
Gino Padula now has it. Oh, he gets clattered into as well by Terry Cook, and that looks nasty. The referee is going to have a word on that far side. And Gino Padula is down. Pratt Mathema wants to come out and hand out some treatment. Mark Clattenburg, the referee, says to Prav, on your cam, son. And Gino Padula is down, and he's holding his left knee by the looks of it from the pictures. Well, not the pictures. Yeah, seeing the pictures, is it his left calf, his left knee? Terry Cook's certainly getting yellow card.
It's a contact injury, and Cook's about, what, 7 stone ringing wet, so I expect Padula to get up.
Yellow card is shown as Middlesbrough go 2-0 up against Manchester City. QPR need to win, as I am Matt Rose's brother-in-law and best man, as a text message that's come in on 07786 200 949, as we see pictures of a Sheffield Wednesday fan there. He's not quite got a cigar on.
Not quite got all his teeth either.
Not really. Take the pipe out of the mouth. It fits perfectly, though, without those teeth. Jeff in Ruislip has got in touch with us, too, to say, haven't been this stressed since listening to David Webb stepping up to take a penalty against AEK Athens, as Gareth Ainsworth now skips down the right-hand side, jumps out of the way of a challenge. Edgehill's cross, Gallen near post, receives it. He's going to flick it over his shoulder. He's got Ainsworth making a run towards the byline. Here comes Ainsworth. Crossfield ball. It's just bobbled into the path of Gallen, and it's been scored by Queen's Park Rangers. And Kevin Gallen, who said earlier this week he wants to score the goal that sends them up 10 minutes before half-time, has given them the chance. Gallen from 6 yards, his 17th of the season. The fans are in 7th heaven. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Queen's Park Rangers 1, and Gallen is that glory for him.
It's a good goal. In fact, it might even be a great goal. However, it's simple arithmetic. The pressure has not been dealt with properly by Wednesday at the back. When Gallen gets it, there's no real pressure on him. He's back to goal. Good run off the ball from Ainsworth. He doesn't go for the shot, he cuts it back. Furlong can't get it, but still Wednesday can't clear it. And hey, someone's there to tuck it in the back of the net. No surprise, the pressure on, the goal will come. Keep the pressure on. This team, Wednesday, has not got the habit of winning games. Get one, get two, take all the pressure away. But now, in the next 10 minutes, keep everything tight and focused.
Ainsworth, who set up, will certainly help set up that goal, tries to dink down the right-hand side. It's pinged away from him, but he tries to win it back. It's mopped up by Chris Brunt instead, though. Rolls it into the path of young Richard Wood, 18-year-old Yorkshire lad from Wakefield. Forward ball from him. Matthew Rose, though, just gets in the way of John Shaw's launched effort. Gallen can't take it on the chest. Mopped up by Dean Smith, experienced player. Speaking to him when he signed from Leyton Orient, Dean Smith, to say that he just a chance of First Division football. Now Gallen has Paul Furlong making a run to his left-hand side. Ainsworth to the right, tries to tickle it forward to Ainsworth. He just checked his run, and it rolls out of play for a throw-in. 8.5 minutes to half-time on BBC London 94.9. 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers. Now Mark Bircham has it in midfield, just rolls it away from Mark Robbins. Here's Gino Padula, recovered from that little knock he had, flicks it forward, it sails over the head of Paul Furlong into the path of Kevin Pressman. Bristol City leading by 2-0. Brentford 0-0 in their game at Griffin Park with Bournemouth this afternoon. Rushden and Diamonds trailing Port Vale, though, by 2-0, by 1-0, should I say. And at the moment, Chesterfield 0-0 with Luton. That would still be enough for the Bees to stay in. Richard Johnson battling in midfield. Here's Mark Bircham, tries to turn away from one challenge, has his shirt being tugged all over the place. Now Man City have got a goal back against Middlesbrough, and their former skipper Richard Edgehill clears the pressure somewhat, looking for Furlong, tries to get in behind Dean Smith, catches Dean Smith on the back of the calf as they both challenge for the ball. Mark Clattenburg, the referee, is going to have a word with the former Chelsea and Watford and Birmingham City striker Paul Furlong, who's had a decent season himself as Furs up front, 15 goals. That improves his tally on last season. And Mark Clattenburg said it was accidental, I think. Dean Smith is down injured, and this is a concern for Sheffield Wednesday's bench potentially. Although Gary O'Reilly, do you think he'll get up? He's having some treatment to his right leg.
He does get caught by Furlong, and Paul doesn't make an attempt to really get the ball. He just tries to bolt Smith as he goes for it and catches him. And I think what the problem is, when Smith lands, he lands awkwardly, and his body weight takes him in the wrong direction for his knee, and that's the concern. Tempers in here seem a little bit frayed all round the ground for some reason, apart from the Rangers fans, who seem for an obvious reason quite content.
Blue and white checked flag is waving above someone's head. Over to our left-hand side. Dave and Josh have texted in on 07786 200 949. They say they're listening in Tel Aviv in Israel. Come on, you R's. Love to Adam listening in Wembley. He's got his magic hat on. Magic Man has scored his 17th goal of the season to give Queen's Park Rangers a 1-0 lead at Hillsborough. Now, I don't know if you can hear that back at the beanback, but the crowds were singing, "Are you watching Loftus Road?" I don't know if you want to give them a cheer and text in to tell us that you are, but the number is 07786 200 949. Dean Smith actually hobbling to this near touchline. I can tell you it has actually, if you're listening to BBC London rather than out of the beanback, there is a bit of pandemonium at the moment in W12. It's flicked forward towards Paul Furlong as it's cushioned out of play by Derek Geary, but QPR break down their left-hand side. Keep your texts coming in. We'll try and get through as many as possible, but the drama's unfolding.
As long as we're on here to about 10, we will.
Exactly. We may have to have a word with the station editor at this rate, just to see if we can have a little bit lengthier Tom Watts sports programme on a Saturday afternoon, this afternoon. A little foul from Martin Rowlands, far touchline. As one or two of the Sheffield Wednesday fans let the emotion get the better of them on the far touchline. Derek Geary's picked up a knock, free kick. 5.5 minutes to go to half-time, 1-0 QPR lead. And bright sunshine now in South Yorkshire, where Bristol City, of course, in this neck of the woods, meant it went to the final weekend of the season with their 1-0 win over Barnsley last week, thanks to Tony Rougier. So Bristol City said thanks to Tony Rougier, former Brentford and Reading player, of course, scoring on 21 minutes. They lead 2-0 this afternoon in the first in the Premiership. Southampton 0, Villa 1. Juan Pablo Angel scoring for Aston Villa, who will go back into fourth with Liverpool not playing Birmingham until at 5:30 this evening. They'll have 58 points and in with a real shout, with their last game against Manchester United at home to come next week, of actually getting into the Champions League. David O'Leary and his babies. Why babies?
Oh, he's done a fantastic job there, David. When you think how bad and where they were at the beginning of the season, they've defied gravity in a miraculous way.
Headed away by Matt Rose, picked up by Terry Cook though inside the Queen's Park Rangers half, poked away by Martin Rowlands. Robbins is offside, flag goes up, free kick will be awarded in Queen's Park Rangers' favour instead. Mark Clattenburg, the referee, either he's directing air traffic or he's saying to Lee Camp, take it out your hands.
I'll tell you, it gives me the jitters, the linesman on the far side, because there's that little bit of delay in his flag, so please don't do that too often.
He has a sense of drama. I think he probably does am-dram during the week. He likes playing the Pirates of
Don't care where he goes during the week, as long as he gets it right today.
Just suggesting maybe he's a bit of a lovey as it's flicked forward by Edghill towards Furlong, headed away, this time by Wood. Boomed out wide to right-hand side, and Ainsworth. Ainsworth goes for a spectacular effort in the end. Well, it was a cross-come shot. If it had been a shot and gone in, it would have been spectacular. We've seen those before from Gareth Ainsworth. But in fact, it went wide as Jermaine Pennant gives Leeds United a 2-1 win against Charlton. It's funny, I was speaking to a Charlton fan on the way up at the service station and said, "Be typical Charlton, you know, for us to go out there and Leeds to score 20 of the 35 goals that they need against us." I don't think they're going to get 20.
Seriously depressed Addicks fan.
Well, he was in the queue for the Burgers, and you know how long that was going.
Oh, yeah, well, that could do it to you, yeah.
Throw-in taken by Geary for Sheffield Wednesday down their right-hand side. 3 minutes plus added on time to go at the end of this first half. Paul Furlong makes some use of himself. Dean Smith with a clearance header. Kevin Gallen latches onto it. QPR now attacking down the left-hand side. Gallen skips over Smith. Furlong in the penalty area towards Furlong. Shot goes wide from Paul Furlong. Claims it took a deflection. Kevin Pressman has the goal kick.
He's got a case, Paul. I thought the defender got a nick on the far side, but Gallen skips through the two challenges, and it's quite simple. And we've got a monitor in front of us. No, Mr. Furlong, but I can understand why you appealed. You might as well have a go at the referee, see if we get anything.
Well, Paul Furlong, well over 100 goals now in his professional footballing career. Up the byways and highways of, well, not just West London, but the West Midlands, of course, and Hertfordshire. Oxford 2-0 up on Rochdale, but Oxford's hopes of the playoffs have since gone. And they will build again next season in the third division. Queen's Park Rangers looking to build for a first division season. They lead here at Hillsborough by a goal to 0. Intelligent play from Ainsworth back to Edghill. Edghill, right-footed curved ball down that flank, looking for Paul Furlong. They're playing for their futures, Queen's Park Rangers players. There's a whole host of people out of contract in the summer. Ian Holloway's out of contract at the end of the season, the manager too.
It's not so much your individual futures here. As a player, you have one thing in your mind now, not your contract. It's the job. You've come so far, you want to see this through and you want to see it through properly. You don't think about yourself out there now. You think about what it's meant all season long, and now you've got a chance to take that destiny forward. That's what you're thinking about.
It's a goal kick which Kevin Pressman will take. Ted in Bexley Heath has texted in to say, "Hi guys, I'm a Millwall season ticket holder, but I'm rooting for the Rangers so that we can play them next year." Well, Mark Bircham, of course, had his spell at Millwall before joining the club that he supported as a kid. Mark Robbins was offside, but Wood made the run from an onside position. Sorry, not Wood. Shaw races down that right-hand flank for Sheffield Wednesday, wins himself a throw, which Terry Cook prepares to take. Quickly to Geary, closing down the space to him is Rowlands. Geary's cross bobbles down, and it's going to be shanted away by Mark Bircham to Gareth Ainsworth on this right-hand side. Ainsworth, crossfield fizz ball, sails over the top of Paul Furlong, and Dean Smith stoops to conquer, or certainly stoops to put the ball down to Kevin Pressman. We're into the final 60 seconds of normal time, and Pressman will just stray out of his 18-yard box to clear this line. 07786 200 949. I'm a London cabbie is the latest text. Just dropped a lady off in Chiswick. She said her old man is a big Arse fan and listening to BBC London 94.9. I'm a Millwall fan. I wish you luck, as two players have gone down injured, Shaw and Clark Carlisle, and it's treatment which will have to be handed out to Clark Carlisle, who just beats the ground in a bit of frustration down there. On the bench, Arthur O'Heary for Queen's Park Rangers, or Steve Palmer. Pratt Mathena handing out treatment. John Shaw is the other man who's down injured at the moment.
Seems in a little bit of pain there, Clark Carlisle, but hopefully it's not too bad.
Well, the referee blew his whistle, and the songs are ringing out from the stand away to our left-hand side, where the Queen's Park Rangers fans are gathered. Some of them are in the open bit, the open corner, and some of them probably wouldn't have been able to see that goal go in. There are some seats which are obliterated the view of the far end of the ground by the perspex, rather grubby perspex sheeting which hangs down from the stand opposite us.
Plus a phalanx of policemen.
What, a policeman?
Oh, phalanx.
Okay, I just had to check what you were saying there, Gary.
I understand why.
It's 3 minutes added on time to be played at the end of this first half. Clark Carlisle off, so QPR temporarily down to 10 men. Good strong header clear from Gareth Ainsworth. The R's leading by a goal to 0. Bristol City 2-0 up against Blackpool, by the way. 0-0 Brentford against Bournemouth. Leighton Orient trailing Cambridge United by a goal to 0. Whipped in cross, which is straight into the palms of Lee Camp, who drops it in his 6-yard box. And Southampton get an equaliser against Aston Villa, 1-1 at the St Mary's Stadium. Camp races to the edge of his penalty area before clearing it right-footed. The man on loan from Derby County, and Lee Camp.
Well, it does clear the halfway line just.
Making his 12th appearance for QPR and his 13th appearance of the season. Had a brief one for Derby. Just gets it over the halfway line. Gareth Ainsworth tries to win it back. Carlisle still off. Bobbles out of play though from Sheffield Wednesday. Clark Carlisle deep in conversation with Ian Holloway, and he's going to be replaced by Arthur O'Heary, who now prepares to come on. Carlisle will play no further part in this game. And Arthur O'Heary, the man born on the Ivory Coast, the man who played most of his football in France at Caen and Caen. The other way around, actually, Caen, then Caen. Thank you. Which means that if QPR do go up today, he may celebrate with a Caen dance. Dear.
Yes.
Then move to Burnley, where he made almost 100 appearances now at Queen's Park Rangers. Half-time, Chesterfield 0-0 with Luton. Good news for Brentford, who are currently 0-0 at home with Bournemouth. That would mean that Chesterfield would have 49 points. They wouldn't make up the points to get to Brentford. Rushden and Diamonds currently trailing at home to Port Vale. They would go down along with Chesterfield. Grimsby winning. Brentford would finish, if it stays like this, just above the relegation spot. Tranmere 0, Grimsby 1 is now a half-time score. QPR have a throw-in down their right-hand side. We've played 2.5 minutes of the added 3 at the end of this first period of the game. Throw-in which Mark Bircham will take. He's instructing Paul Furlong to make a run towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Gareth Ainsworth in the penalty area. Furlong looking for the flick, doesn't get it. It's boomed away to Bircham again. Takes a touch into the area. Bircham shot back to Bircham's chest this time. Tries to race into the penalty area. One step over. He's going to take it into the corner, is Mark Bircham. He's going to try and win something down there. He has. He's won himself another throw-in. Waste of seconds. And Ian Holloway will be very happy just to get a half-time now with a lead.
Yeah, the fact you've got a clean sheet so far and the goal to the good, that's positive. I think really with the pressure they've had and the chances they've had, they should be looking at more than that.
Bircham with the throw. Referee Mark Clattenburg blows his whistle. Half-time here at Hillsborough then on BBC London 94.9 and back at the beanbag. It's good news for the R's. Bristol City may be leading by 2 goals to 0, but that will count to 0 if QPR can continue holding the clean sheet, if they can add to their goal tally at the moment. Kevin Gallen's goal separating the two teams. Gallen from 8 yards out, slamming it in, means at half-time it's Sheffield Wednesday 1, Sorry, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Final were promoted to the old First Division in 1983. Is it going to be another promotion season here on BBC London 94.9? QPR take us off and underway. We'll go through the teams for you. There's been a change for Sheffield Wednesday at half-time too, as the ball sails forward onto the chest of Kevin Gallen. Holds it up well inside the Sheffield Wednesday half. Here's Richard Johnson to Bircham, slips it forward towards Furlong. Just inside the penalty area, he's been tugged all over the place. But Chris Carr, the substitute, is on for Dean Smith. Is the man who is being offended against by Paul Furlong, so a free kick has gone Kevin Pressman's way.
Interesting, Phil. You've got two new centre-halves, Nohire and Carr. Both have got to bed in alongside the respective partners there. Tense time for both sides in the middle of their defences.
Chris Carr from Newcastle, only his second appearance for Sheffield Wednesday, on as a sub last week against Luton. As Nohire booms over the top of Mark Robbins. He says Robbins made him a back. Robbins said, "You came clattering into me." Free kick's gone Sheffield Wednesday's way. Go through the teams very quickly for you in a minute or two, as Geary now has it for Wednesday. Right-hand side, tries to angle in a crossfire. Post Camp doesn't come. Edgehill puts it out of play. First corner of the afternoon to Sheffield Wednesday. Over on their left-hand side, they have Pressman in goal. Geary. Now Chris Carr, Richard Wood and Brian Murphy, the back four. Cook, Terry Cook, that is. Paul McLaren, Lewis McMahon, Chris Brunt in midfield. Mark Robinson, John Shaw up front. Lee Camp in goal for QPR. Edgehill. Now Arthur Lahiri, Matt Rose and Gino Padula. Ainsworth, Bircham, Johnson, Rowlands and Gallen and Furlong up front. Go through the subs for you very shortly. But here comes Terry Cook's corner from the left-hand side. It slips through everyone and hooked over the top of the bar by Chris Carr. Goal kick only to Lee Camp. Chris Day, Steve Palmer, Tony Thorpe and Jamie Curran still on the bench for the R's. Ola Tidman, Adam Chambers, Robbie Mustoe, yes, the Robbie Mustoe, and Kim Olsen on the bench still for Chris Turner's Sheffield Wednesday. The R's fans found their voice at the start of this second half, massing down to our left-hand side. There are replica shirts and flags and scarves being hoisted above the heads, just being waved in the air as they see their team attack down the right-hand side again. 2 minutes into the second half, leading by a goal to nil on BBC London 94.9 and, of course, back at the Beanback at Loftus Road. Bristol City 2-0 up against Blackpool. And in Holloway speaking earlier this week was saying he just assumes that Bristol City will win their final game of the season at Ashton Gate, so that QPR had to come here and get the win themselves. Here's Kevin Gallen, scorer the only goal of the game so far. Rolls it out wide to Bircham, cross in from him, flicks in the air. Paul Furlong takes on the chest. Furlong shot! Furlong scores for Queen's Park Rangers in the second minute of the second half. And Kevin Gallen did it in the first half. Furlong, who has been a magnificent centre forward for the last 18 months, has done it at the start of the second. A great turn, a great shot. Pressman beaten. The First Division gets ever so close now for QPR. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Queen's Park Rangers 2, and it's the dynamic duo who've done it so far. Gallen and Furlong, bang, bang, 2-0 up. Is this now the chance?
It takes you a step closer. It's a goal that's crafted and it shares a bit of good fortune. Bircham just puts pressure on, gets a deflection that falls to the feet of Gallen. Goes for the plays a 1-2 with Bircham. Bircham's cross takes a deflection, then it's Furlong that does everything. Great control, great body strength, and a great finish. Just what Ian Holloway and this team needed was an early second goal. You've got yourself in a great position. Now you consolidate everything you've built up and you make sure you step it forward and upwards.
A fifth clean sheet in 11 would make sure. But there's still plenty of football to go. Only 3.5 minutes played as a flashing effort goes well wide in the end from Chris Brunt, but he was given the opportunity and it sails into the spine cop behind Lee Camp, and Sheffield Wednesday fan just barges the ball back down onto the pitch as we see replays of that shot, which was well wide, and it's just wasting time for Sheffield Wednesday because Lee Camp isn't going to hurry to get the ball and retrieve it from virtually halfway inside his own half to take this goal kick. And for a young teenager, Lee Camp, he's impressed a lot of people. 19-year-old Derby born. He's shown a lot of composure and a lot of just real character in this loan spell he's had.
He's a good goalkeeper. The only thing I'd say, he's not 6'8". Which goalkeepers seem to need to be these days.
Same height as former Ars goalkeeper Tony Roberts, 5'11", as Derek Geary has it inside his own D for Sheffield Wednesday now. Launches it long, looking for Robbins. Arthur O'Leary takes it on the chest. Robbins pokes it forward to Shaw. Richard Johnson on the cover though, back with Robbins, and Matthew Rose just takes the ball and the man. Shaw goes down, throw into Sheffield Wednesday. 4.5 minutes played, second half. The Ars leading by 2 goals to 0. Gino Padula though scrapes the ball under his studs before slashing it up the right off the left-hand flank into midfield for Mark Bertram to try and win it. Richard Johnson comes away with it, then gets thrown over in midfield there by Lewis McMahon, and a free kick has been given. Queen's Park Rangers play.
If you ever needed something to give you confidence, a second goal will do. And obviously the fans have taken that on board too.
Well, they're asking if you're watching at Loftus Road. I think you are. We can't hear you here in Sheffield, but if you want to try your best, give us a song now as it's forward towards Paul Furlong again. Matt Lockwood, as former Queen's Park Rangers player himself, Matt Lockwood has scored for Leyton Orient against Cambridge United. 1-1 there is a penalty to give Lockie the goal. It's actually, no, he hasn't. He's got to retake it there at Brisbane Road, so the excitement has been somewhat tempered as Mark Robbins now has it, edge of the centre circle. Sheffield Wednesday break here at Hillsborough. On the right-hand side, it's Geary up against Martin Rowlands. Into the feet of Terry Cook it goes from Geary. Bobbles it forward through midfield. McMahon, shot blocked though, on the edge of the penalty area by Matthew Rose with his arm, according to the referee, Mark Clattenburg. The Dartford-born defender can't believe it. And a free kick has gone Sheffield Wednesday's way.
Very harsh. The ball's hit the arm. Yeah, if you like, technically it's handball, but not for me. He's got to actually do something about it. All he does is puts his hand up to protect himself. It's never handball. But the referee disagreed.
We've seen the replay of that as well, and it was right in his midriff, and he was just putting his hands up, I think, to protect his face, wasn't he?
Oh, it's the wrong decision.
Free kick, which will be taken though. Cook and Brunter behind it. It's dead centre. Lee Camp though has marshalled his ball. The referee makes sure it's 10 yards back. Brighton go 2-0 up again away at Wrexham. Cook will leave it for Brunter. Barges it straight into the lower tier, or lower echelons of the Copperway to our right-hand side, and the Sheffield Wednesday fans eventually give the ball out to Lee Camp. 6.5 minutes played. Just to let you know that Matty Lockwood missed the retaken penalty, so Cambridge United, whose manager, who's been there for about 5 minutes, is heading away. We understand he's not even at the game today, Mr. Leroy. He's working for French television this afternoon.
As is.
Hey-ho. Goal kick taken then by Lee Camp. It's flicked off the back of his own head in the end by Lewis McMahon, and then boom forward. Camp though comes to the edge of his penalty area. Won't get there. Matthew Rose with a strong challenge in on Shaw this time to clear the ball out of play. Rose had an excellent game last week against Swindon, and he's replicating it again this afternoon. Into the QPR penalty area it goes. It's bobbled out of play by Mark Bertram for a corner to Sheffield Wednesday, who, as you'd imagine, after a bit of a tongue lashing from Chris Turner, have come out, all guns blazing second half, but they have conceded a second goal. Paul Furlong adding to Kevin Gallen's strike. 2-0 the Ars lead. Same scoreline down at Ashton Gate, Bristol City against Blackpool, and Brentford 0-0 at the moment with Bournemouth at what could be quite equally nervy, I would have thought, Griffin Park this afternoon. Corner then, which we whipped in from this near post area. It's boomed in the air from Chris Carr. Gareth Ainsworth took a battering from Chris Carr as he went into challenge with him, and the man who likes a bit of guitar, and who became a father during this season to young baby Scarlett, who I'm sure will be delighted if her dad can help the team get up this season. Limps away and hobbles away from the challenge. His set-up for the first goal from Kevin Gallen, who slammed it in from 8 yards out. Paul Furlong with a spin and turn, who barged it past Kevin Pressman. Mark Farrow in Harrow has texted in on 07786 200 949. He said, "My house erupted when QPR scored. Even my mum, who supports Spurs, went mad, as she knows what it means to go up and win this game." Gino Padula doesn't win a challenge. Arthur O'Leary, though, a little push from him on Mark Robbins, who goes down, and it's a free kick with 9 minutes played, second half. Respect to Radio London from Ars fans in Cork City this afternoon. Thank you very much. Sheffield Wednesday are told they're taking the free kick from the wrong place. 2-0 the Ars lead here at Hillsborough. 9 minutes elapsed in the second half. It's 2-0 at Ashton Gate. 0-0, as I said, at Griffin Park. As another text comes in to say, "Come on, Rangers, we can't wait to batter Leeds next year," as Arthur O'Leary trying to scrape out a clearance. It falls fortuitously into the path of Lee Camp. And Rich and Greg have got in touch with us on that one, drinking their way towards promotion in Devon.
I wonder if they're drinking cider.
Could he get back in touch with us now and say no? It's Kevin Gallen, left-hand side of the Sheffield Wednesday penalty area to Rowlands, who tries to skip to find some space. Lovely little nutmeg, finds Gallen, ball bobbled away from him. Strong challenge in there from the man now wearing the captain's armband, Paul McLaren. QPR have a throw in left-hand side, which Mark Bertrand will take. Football tomorrow afternoon, by the way, starting at 12 o'clock on the Tom Watt Sunday Sports Show. Two commentaries, Palace at Coventry, Fulham against Arsenal. Into the path of Rowlands it goes. Bertrand takes a shot, blocked clear. That was Carr who got in the way. Here's Padula again, left-hand side, levers it forward. Gallen to Bertrand, won't be able to take the shot himself. Finds Ainsworth, right-hand side of the penalty area. Plenty of pressure. Ainsworth dives towards the byline, still going. Whips in across, loops in the air. Ainsworth's headed down towards Gallen and Furlong. It scrapes between his legs and eventually gathered almost on his goal line by Kevin Pressman.
Just shows you when they get the ball in the box, Rangers, and they keep it, they're very, very dangerous as far as Wednesday's concerned, because they're not comfortable defending in the 18-yard area.
Chelsea were guaranteed second spot in the Premiership with their 1-1 draw at Manchester United, but questions over the alleged dive which Rui van Nistelrooy decided to take, which got Robert Huth the yellow card, which saw him off. Everton 0, Bolton 1, Leicester 2-0 up on Portsmouth, Borough 2, Man City 1, Southampton 1, Villa 1, Tottenham 1, Blackburn 0, Leeds United 2, Charlton 1. Big score for Brentford, Tranmere Rovers 1, Grimsby 1. Which is great news as far as Brentford are concerned, because at the moment they would have the same number of points, but goal difference would keep them below Brentford. Just that little bit of ease there. The Beamback Rangers have also texted in on 07786 200 949. Win by a furlong and we'll drink a gallon. Very good. Very good. Ainsworth wins it for QPR down their right-hand side inside his own half. Pokes it back into the Sheffield Wednesday territory. Wednesday have it, though, on their left-hand flank. It's shunted forward by Murphy. QPR, though, putting a lot of pressure on the Wednesday midfield. Eventually, it's rolled all the way to Geary on this right-hand side, who has support in the shape of Terry Cook. Gino Padula races to cut down space. It's flicked forward, though, instead from the runner from midfield. That's Lewis McMahon. McMahon has a man running down beyond him on the left-hand side as Martin Rowlands takes it clear of Derek Geary and concedes a throw. Almost 12 minutes played, second half. QPR leading 2-0.
And you can see a little bit of confidence in Rangers' play. They're not being too arrogant, just being confident. All they've got to do now is remain focused on the job in hand and not let any silly mistakes gift Wednesday back into this game.
It's throw in to QPR on this near touchline, which will be taken by Gino Padula. Byrne has texted in on 07786 200 949, saying, I'm in an internet cafe in Bristol, come on you R's. It'll be an interesting evening for Byrne. As Arthur Nahiri this one tries to boom it away. Mopped up at the back by Richard Wood. Rolls it into the path this time of Brian Murphy, 25-year-old Cork-born, Cork City, former Cork City player. Nahiri and Rose just say after you, Claude, before Nahiri receives it and rolls it forward this time to Martin Rowlands. Up against Geary, inside the Sheffield Wednesday penalty, into half now. Rowlands still going. Is he balked there? Nothing given. The clearance only finds Ainsworth into the path of Gallen. Back to Ainsworth. Good football from QPR. 25 yards out. Curved out wide to the right-hand side for Gallen again from Ainsworth. Takes a step in field. Left-footed. Levers it to Edgehill. Edgehill's cross. Ainsworth's shot bubbles into the arms in the end of Geary of Kevin Pressman, who bowls it out to Terry Cook. Just wouldn't sit up for something.
Just couldn't get a Black Rangers shirt in front of that ball. Geary comes in, and it's very fortuitous because it hits his chest. By the looks of it, goes into the arms of Kevin Pressman. Lucky boys.
Booming challenge from Martin Rowlands just a second ago. Almost fed in Paul Furlong, but it goes back to Pressman, whose clearance is just beyond Kevin Gallen. It's met in midfield by Lewis McMahon. 13.5 minutes played, second half. 2-0 the R's lead. We've had a text in from the Beanback, from Faisal. This means so much to us, all us QPR fans. We're back where we belong. Not yet. The Sheffield Wednesday attack. It's bobbled through towards a shot, which goes flashing in. And Wednesday have a goal back in this game, turned in by John Shaw. And QPR fans away to our left-hand side react with a degree of stunned silence. A shot which bobbled through to Shaw, and he drove it in past Lee Camp. And the advantage is only one goal. Sheffield Wednesday 1.
Just that drop in concentration. He's free in the box, Shaw, and he's gifted a strike on his right foot. Doesn't mess about, takes it. All right, so they scored a goal. Fair enough. Doesn't mean they've won the game. Doesn't mean you're out of automatic motion. Just make sure you concentrate, stay focused on what you're doing. Every time you get bodies in the box and the ball in there, Wednesday do not look safe. Carry on doing what you're supposed to be doing, carry on like that, and there's no reason why you don't get a third.
It's never easy, is it, Lars fans? Whoever you support, it's never easy.
No one ever said it was. If it was easy, we'd all be pro footballers.
Exactly.
Quite simple.
Kevin Pressman with the clearance now from a goal kick. Met by Mark Robbins. Sheffield Wednesday there. Excuse the pun, the Owls' tails will be a little bit up now after this. Flicked forward into midfield. Back it goes all the way towards Kevin Pressman, who will mop it up. The hour mark almost reached on BBC London 94.9 as Geary has it for the Owls wearing blue and white stripes. Into midfield for Mark Bircham to mop up. Little flicked header which is met by Gareth Ainsworth, peeling his way forward. That's Furlong infield. He finds Paul Furlong eventually. Martin Rowlands to his left, Ainsworth to his right. Rolls it to Bircham instead. Bircham looking to tee someone up in the penalty area. Paul Foss and Mark Bircham sail straight into the arms of a ball boy behind Kevin Pressman's goal. And it's a goal kick, nothing else for the Sheffield Wednesday keeper.
But look how easy it is for Rangers to drift forward and create a good crossing opportunity. Not only is it a good crossing opportunity, you've got three players in the box. And that is worrying for Wednesday. And I think it's something that Rangers have got to have a little bit more belief in.
Kevin Pressman's clearance is flicked on by Shaw. And how to play it goes. Tranmere 2, Grimsby 1 in the second division. But Tranmere are down to 10 men. That would mean that Brentford would be a point above Grimsby if it stayed like that. Brentford 0-0, by the way. Leyton Orient still trailing Cambridge United by a goal to 0. Poked forward to Robbins again. Arthur O'Heary is able to flick it away to Gino Padula, who has a man coming in at his back, but just manages to squirm it away. Here's Martin Rowlands, loses possession to Geary. Sheffield Wednesday break down their right-hand side again. Gino Padula catches Geary. The free kick has been awarded, and Gino Padula has been called across to the referee for a yellow card from Mark Clattenburg.
Couldn't quite see the challenge for Padula because the stewards were stood up in front of us. But I think the referee, by the looks of the way the player was laying prostrate on the ground, that there was a challenge, a bit of contact.
29,313 inside this Hillsborough stadium this afternoon for this crucial game for Queen's Park Rangers. It's the biggest crowd of the season for Sheffield Wednesday. Free kick comes angled in, it bobbles through. That's an arm from Chris Carr, surely. It's gone wide for a corner. The referee has ordered a corner to Sheffield Wednesday. I thought that bobbled down off his arm, Gary O'Reilly.
It did very much look like it hit the defender's arm, and Wednesday have got a spell of pressure. Rangers have to make sure they deal with it properly.
Corner on the right, on the left-hand side, which will be taken by the right-footed Terry Cook. Plays it short, receives it back on the angle of the penalty area, dinks it into that 18-yard box. Sheffield Wednesday still attacking. Gino Padula can boom it clear, and now Mark Bircham chases after it. It's going to be run out of play though, and Brian Murphy will take the throw in for Sheffield Wednesday, who are being urged forward by their own fans. 17.5 minutes played, second half. QPR leading by 2 goals to 1. Had been 2-0 up as it's curved in towards Mark Robbins. O'Heary this time with a strongish header away, mopped up by Geary. Geary's right-footed cross. Matthew Rose this time to slant it away. Shot which is up in the air from Arthur O'Heary, and over the top. It's another corner of Sheffield Wednesday.
All right, so you thought you were going to come here and have it your own way? No, I don't think anyone did on there for the Rangers side. Just think now it's how you deal with it. Okay, the strike comes in. O'Heary's there in the right place, doing the right job. Now you do it again. Everything's nailed down.
Corner kick. Cook will take it again over on that left-hand side. Man came short, doesn't want it. Booms it far post. It's Chris Carr who heads it behind. Out of play, goal kick, Lee Camp. 18 and a bit minutes played. Second half, QPR still leading by 2 goals to 1. On 07786 200 949, John in Woking has got in touch with us to say thanks to BBC London and all London football fans for their support of QPR. From our point of view, it's an absolute pleasure, John. Has flicked Paul Furlong, finds Kevin Gallen, but Richard Wood is too strong for him. Sheffield Wednesday have it in their left-back position with Brian Murphy. Out wide to Chris Brunt, left-hand side. Back into the path of Murphy again. In midfield, now it's picked up by Paul McLaren, who goes backwards somewhat, and Richard Wood almost caught in possession as Gallen falls over. Now it's drifted forward for Matthew Rose to cushion a header into midfield. Here's Richard Johnson, has Martin Rowlands waiting to receive. He stumbles on the ball over Martin Rowlands. Now here's a chance for Lewis McMahon, who's dispossessed by Mark Bircham. Martin Rowlands slams in with a challenge which cushions the ball and then ricochets the ball all the way to Kevin Pressman inside his own penalty area.
He needed to rectify an error there, Rowlands, and he did so in style.
Pressman's clearance, Matthew Rose with a header, it slides off the left-hand side of his head and over to this near touchline where with Cook is waiting to receive. Terry Cook tries to find Robbins, flag goes up. Sheffield Wednesday fans who are sitting on a worse angle than us don't even agree with the assistant referee.
Well, he flagged and that's enough for me. He's offside and they've played like that for the whole game at the back, Rangers. Rose has been keen to catch a little striker in an offside position, so he just lets him drift in there, just steps away from him, and Robbins is offside. Just want to make sure you're accurate every single time. 20
minutes almost played, second half. Kieran Tone has been sent off for Leighton Orient, I can tell you, as it's flicked forward by Johnson again, too heavy, looking for Kevin Gallen, sails all the way through to Kevin Pressman. Pressman being forced to pick up the ball on the penalty spot almost by Kevin Gallen, and left-footed will hoik it forward again, the 36-year-old, born in Fareham. Arthur O'Heary, though, is there to cushion it away down this near touchline. It loops, though, into the path of Geary. Nigel Quashie's got a goal back for Portsmouth, former QPR man, against Leicester. 2-1 there at the Walker Stadium. As Richard Johnson wins a good, strong challenge in midfield, then has the ball taken away from him. Mark Bircham gets a bit of after from McMahon, but Matthew Rose can now buccaneer his way forward. Has support to his right-hand side, has Ainsworth. Tickles it out wide rather too heavily, but Ainsworth will get there. Just checked his run. Ainsworth to the byline, dinks in across. Rose has continued his run. Rose back towards Furlong. It's beyond the Queen's Park Rangers striker, and Sheffield Wednesday have it. Matthew Rose, was he going for glory? Did he mistime his header as now it flicks off Richard Edghill? Arthur O'Heary on the cover. Lee Camp has it, will clear it right-footed over the halfway line. Gary O'Reilly, should Matthew Rose have gone for goal? Did he?
No, he does the right thing and heads it back across. You know, sometimes strikers gamble on going in towards goal, sometimes they hold off. In that case, both strikers go for goal, and one of them's got to go, one has got to hold.
Mark Robbins is dispossessed by Richard Edghill on the left-hand side of the right-hand side as QPR look at it at the centre circle. And Edghill showing a real experience there. Just passes it back to Lee Camp.
Calm it down. Take the crowd out. Take Wednesday players out. Just delay things. Just get your own breath. Keep possession.
Edghill curves it down the right-hand side, looking for Kevin Gallen. It's taken on the chest by Richard Wood, who booms it long. It's sailed out of play yet. No, it hasn't. It's been kept in. Edghill will have to get back and try and snaffle possession back for Queen's Park Rangers. Free kick not awarded. Referee says play on after Edghill was just grappling somewhat. Over to this near touchline for Terry Cook now. Has Geary on the overlapping run. Rowlands is watching that, cuts in field. Johnson goes in with a challenge. Cook wins it, flicked into the QPR penalty area. Rose with the clearance header well on the cover. Hooked over his shoulder by Bircham, only as far as McLaren. Here's McMahon teeing himself up for a shot. Goes into Shaw instead. Shaw blocked by Gino Padula. Crucial challenge from the Argentinian. And now the player goes for a Sheffield Wednesday corner.
It's a superb challenge. There's no pressure. There's no pressure at all on Lewis McMahon when he's got the ball about 20-odd yards out. No surprise he picks out a Wednesday player in the box. Give guys space and time and they'll do that to you. It's got to be more awareness, more sense of danger.
Steve Palmer preparing to come on, the 36-year-old, as the corner comes flashing in. Headed away by Ainsworth. No one there. The drop ball for QPR. Offside flag goes up against corner taker Chris Brunt. QPR can clear their lines as Steve Palmer is deep in conversation with Jamie Curran. In fact, is stripped off down there. So Curran is preparing to come on. We'll wait to see who he replaces. Ainsworth maybe after that barge that he received. Leeds 3, Charlton 1. Alan Smith getting the third Leeds United goal. Cleared at the back by Lee Camp, looking for Paul Furlong. Wins the flick on, onto the chest only of Derek Geary. We're over halfway through the second half. 2-1 Queen's Park Rangers lead. Gallen and Furlong, but Shaw with a goal for Sheffield Wednesday has given their fans a bit of hope and also something to cheer about, and a few more nerves for the QPR fans. Everton 1-1 with Bolton at Goodison Park as Martin Rowlands now has it left-hand side for Queen's Park Rangers. Up against Geary, goes on a little trickly run, crosses in, it's returned in by Chris Carr! And Chris Carr scored an own goal for Sheffield Wednesday. It doesn't matter how they go in, the two-goal advantage has been restored. Rowlands, player of the season, his cross, and ball-headed Chris Carr has turned it past his goalkeeper Kevin Pressman. It's a bit of red face and red top for Chris Carr. QPR back in front by 2 goals. Sheffield Wednesday 1, QPR 3. They don't care how they come down the left-hand side of me, as long as they come.
Yeah, don't care who scores them as long as they're in the right net. But he can't do that, and he won't do that if there's no pressure on him. And it comes once again from balls into the box, pressure on defenders, they make mistakes. All right, Wednesday scored a goal. Now you've got your two-goal cushion once again. Nothing slack, no drop in concentration. Everything is nailed down. Simple as that, no silly errors.
I suppose technically, Gary, that Sheffield Wednesday have scored 2 goals.
I don't want technicalities, I just want the facts. And the facts are the next 5 or 10 minutes for Rangers are vital. Shut the whole thing down, keep possession, and keep putting the pressure in their 18-yard area. They've proven in the whole of this game so far they do not defend well in their own 18-yard area, hence Rangers 3 goals. Tight at the back, sensible in midfield, get balls in the box.
Flags are being draped from the top tier, the stand away to our left-hand side. We see QPR Northolt there. We saw on QPR Greenford. There is something arms. I can't quite see that. And a QPR banner is being hurled above the heads of the fans in that upper tier. That may even be the boys from the Bush Ranger who are promising to bring a big flag and do that at some time during the game. Win and Dom and those boys that I was told about who are going to be here to do that this afternoon. As the ball sails out of play on the pitch, 20 minutes less to go.
It's a long time
between Queen's Park Rangers and the First Division. Swindon 1, Hartlepool 1 elsewhere in the Second Division this afternoon as they try and sort out who's going to be where in the playoffs. Brighton 2-0 up at Wrexham. Looks as if they may finish 4th. And then Swindon, Hartlepool and Port Vale all going for the seconds, the 5th and 6th spot, should I say. Port Vale leading against Rushden, Hartlepool and Swindon at the moment, level pegging, which would put all 3 teams on 73 points. QPR got 83 points last season and finished in the playoffs. 83 points this season will be enough to send them up. 19 minutes away from that now as Richard Edgehill curves a header down the right-hand side. Stu and Peter texted in on 07786 200 949, sitting and revising for exams with a Wednesday fan. He's even cheering this on. Well, that's more than what a lot of people inside the stadium have been doing, but they have fond memories of course, Danny Wilson as a player, not necessarily as a manager, according to a lot of people. Now here's a break on for QPR. It's Gallen to Rowlands. Rowlands, who's cross-led to that own goal from Chris Carr, gets clattered by Geary. Yellow card surely from the referee, and a free kick just outside the penalty area.
It's a great little run from Rowlands, and Gallen just delays and delays and delays, lets him get in a good position, slips it through. Geary does what you might expect in that position and fails the little player. Now Rangers have got a lovely opportunity to extend the lead even further.
18 minutes to go on BBC London 94.9. Free kick just outside the penalty area. Jock has texted in saying, come on QPR, from you Glasgow Celtic brothers. Glasgow Celtic today beating the other team in the other big team in Glasgow by a 1-0. Chris Sutton with just a couple of minutes to go. To mean it's been a clean sweep in the Old Firm for Celtic this season. Hands on hips for Martin Rowlands, Kevin Gallen and Gino Padula. Stood on Kevin Pressman at the moment with this new rule with the offside is Gareth Ainsworth, still in front of Kevin Pressman. Who's going to take this free kick? Will it be Padula with a left-footed curler? Martin Rowlands with a right-footed over the wall. Referee Mark Clattenburg makes sure the wall is back. It'll be Padula, into the wall it goes, bobbled away though, and clear over onto this near touchline by Richard Wood. Almost fell into the path of Mark Bircham, and it took a deflection from Queen's Park Rangers player. And actually it's a foul which has been awarded down there. Just looking for that again on our replay down there. I couldn't see it, Gary O'Reilly, but the free kick has been given with
Linesman flagged on the far side, so made an offside decision got against Rangers.
Free kick which Pressman takes. 3-1 the Ars lead, but now Mark Robbins tries to latch on to this right-hand side. Ralph in South Germany's also got in touch with us to say, I'm a big QPR supporter and I listen to your programme every Saturday as the cross comes swinging in. He says, come on you Ars, thanks very much for your text, Ralph. Now it's mopped up halfway inside the Ars half on the left-hand side. Chris Brunt is being forced to run backwards though by Richard Edgehill. Now in midfield it's the stand-in skipper Paul McLaren. Square ball to Geary, has Cook on the right-hand touchline. Gino Padula skittles across now to try and block Cook's path. Sheffield Wednesday though still attacking. Cook still going into the path of McLaren. Blocked away, nothing given, handball. And it's a goal kick, which Queen's Park Rangers will have in the shape of Lee Camp. Stuart, who's listening, who's living in Bristol, he's listening down there as well. I'm the only Rangers fan in a house full of City fans. I'm listening on the web. I have never been so nervous. Well, Bristol City leading by 2 goals to 0. QPR leading by 3 goals to 1. And there is 16 and a bit minutes to go until the whistle is blown, and First Division football could well be heading back to Loftus Road as Kevin Gallen latches onto a long through ball. He has Furlong inside the penalty area, sweeps it out wide to Bircham instead. Now towards Furlong again. It's headed behind by the back-tracking defence over there in the shape of Brian Murphy. QPR have a throw-in as Jason Newell gets a goal back for Charlton against Leeds. 3-2 they trail. QPR 3-1 up here at Hillsborough.
And again, it's a cross into the box that takes some desperate defending to keep it out of the net, and it's the key. It's the key for Rangers to open up a cricket score on Wednesday if they want.
Gino Padula. Now, his corners haven't been the best so far this afternoon. We know what he can do with that trusted left boot. This one needs to be delivered slightly better. It's over on that right-hand side, attacking the end to our left where the QPR fans are gathered. We're into the last 15 minutes. Padula raises his right hand up, crosses it in near post. Oh, it scrapes away off the head of Mark Robins and trickles over to the touchline on this near side for Queen's Park Rangers to have themselves a throw.
Lucky bit of defending, because it does just flick so quickly off the head of the defender on the near post, but there's no one there to make the contact.
Throw in from Johnson's met by Geary, who slashes it away. Mark Robins flicks it on. It's Richard Edgell inside the centre circle, who drives it all the way back to his goalkeeper Lee Camp. Only 4 clean sheets for Lee Camp since arriving at QPR, but he has certainly made some very, very important saves, and was unlucky in one respect not to keep a clean sheet down at Plymouth, because he made 2 or 3 very, very fine saves at home park.
Hey, if he doesn't keep a clean sheet and they get promoted, will he care? Professional pride, yes, but he won't be too worried.
Chris Day, of course, has been kept out of the starting lineup, but I spoke to Chris a couple of weeks ago and he just didn't care. He didn't care.
No, he's just booked Edgehill for the throw-in now. Whether he's wasting time or what, I don't quite rightly know. Yeah, it's wasting time.
Well, the throw-in will be taken again. Richard Edgehill thought it was a foul throw, but the referee says take it again onto the thigh of Kevin Gallen. Gallen, oh, lovely turn inside the penalty area. He sneaks. It's blocked towards Bircham, who just falls over. Scraped clear of him by McMahon. Now Edgehill goes in with the challenge. Wins another Queen's Park Rangers throw. 13 and a half minutes played. And, well, Chris Brunt and Richard Edgehill having a bit of a...
Well, no, Brunt's kicked the ball against the hoardings, right? Now, if the referee wants to be pedantic and book Edgehill for time wasting, then he books Brunt for kicking the ball away.
Yeah.
So, a bit of inconsistency, which we've come to expect from referees.
Should be their middle name. Throw in taken. Gallen has it on the chest. On the right-hand side, he has Edgehill. Rolls it back out wide to Edgehill. Down the touchline, it goes to Ainsworth. Bit early to hold it in the corner. Still 13 minutes to go. Ainsworth tries to create a bit of space. Is he going to try and get a cross out of this? It's hacked away from him. Edgehill there to win it, though, back for Queen's Park Rangers. Has Bircham in support. Bircham into the penalty area. Furlong onside. Furlong to Rowlands. Rowlands' shot's going to go wide. Didn't get the real direction on it or the power. Daisy cutter, which didn't really force anything. Let's go to Ashton Gate then. Bristol City against Blackpool. Alistair Durden has penalty action for us on BBC London 94.9. It's a free kick, goal kick, which Pressman will take. It's headed away by Richard Johnson. If you're listening at the beanback, Bristol City 2, Blackpool 1. All nerves jangling at Ashton Gate potentially. QPR leading here by 3 goals to 1. Heading into the final 10 minutes, Arthur Nahiri powers a header clear into the centre circle. It goes. Paul Furlong tries to take it away from Richard Wood, the 18-year-old. This is only his 15th start. Keith Southern scoring the penalty for Blackpool, who are today being looked after by Mike Flynn and Simon Grayson, former Blackburn Rovers man, of course. Grayson, lovely little back heel from Furlong to Ainsworth. Darts now into the Sheffield Wednesday half. Ainsworth, though, has the ball taken away from him. Manages to pick up the ricochet. Drives it into the feet of Richard Edgehill. 11 and a half minutes to go on BBC London 94.9. Rowlands, though, dummies it. Finds Ainsworth, who almost has it taken away from him and dives over one challenge.
Hey,
he knew it was
you want to
in.
do that? You want to take the mic out of a team, they're going to whack you up in the air. And by the way, Mr. Ainsworth, he never caught you.
Forward to Rowlands. It pings off his boots and possession's been won back by Mark Robins. Bobbles away from Geary on this near touchline. It's just been kept in. Sweeps it into midfield. Here's McLaren to Terry Cook. Back into the feet it goes of McLaren again. The QPR midfield won't win it. Mark Bircham darts with a touch of the hand. And inside the centre circle with 11 minutes to go on BBC London 94.9. It's a free kick to Sheffield Wednesday.
If Rangers get carried away with a bit of keep ball like that, that's too arrogant. Not at this stage of the game.
Reverse pass from Cook, finds Shaw, back out wide to Cook for Sheffield Wednesday. The scorer of their goal, Shaw has it, booms in across, goes beyond everyone. It's Brunt there though, who barges into Ainsworth, and the free kick is given as Ainsworth was making the header and Brunt was making no attempt to play the ball.
Yeah, just calm it down. Just sit on this free kick, let Camp come out, do whatever he likes, move it, stick it down, pick it up. Don't upset the referee, but take your time, take the sting and the heat out of it.
Well, I think the infighting may well have started at the Spine Cop end away to our right-hand side. Let's go Ellen Road, Leeds Charlton will turn up. It's a free kick which Lee Camp will take. Right-hand side. Bobbles down to Kevin Gallen. Gallen has it, pokes it into midfield. Johnson, quickly driven ball out to Bircham, right-hand side. Bobbles back off Bircham's head, and it's hacked towards the chest of Brunt again. And forward it goes. Arthur O'Heary backtracking all the way. Gino Padula helping out the defence there, though, as he finds only Lewis McMahon in midfield. Isabel, aged 6 months in Tring, has got in touch with us to say, come on, you R's. So thanks very much for getting in touch with us.
Kids pick up technology so quickly, don't they?
I wonder how many children born over the next couple of days, if all goes to plan in the next 9.5 minutes, will be christened Ian or Kevin or Paul.
Oh, they'll be like Charlie Oakley, they have the whole Rangers team in their name. That would be great.
Promotion team of 1972. Claudio in Chelsea has texted in, just fight and you do it, my neighbour, all the best, as Martin Rowlands gets a standing ovation from the Queen's Park Rangers fans as we head in to the 9-minute to go minute. Jamie Curtin on for Martin Rowlands, and Curtin, who has been used as a superstar really since arriving from South Korea. Bristolian, Bristol Rovers boy though, as was his boss, missed out on promotion with Ian Holloway at Bristol Rovers when they slipped and fell out into 7th spot. When I spoke to him last week, he said he'd love to do it for Ian Holloway, and no other reason. Free kick will be given to Sheffield Wednesday. 8.5 minutes to go on BBC London 94.9. Come on you R's on 07786 200 949. Jim and Emma, once from West London, now living in Philadelphia, as it's boomed forward by Gino Padula, mopped up by Chris Carr, whose goal restored that 2-goal advantage for the R's. 3-1 they lead. Kevin Gallen and Paul Furlong had got the R's 2-0 up. Sheffield Wednesday pull one back. Paul in Auckland has got in touch with us too. Tim in Auckland to say it's 3 a.m. and I'm so happy. Great coverage. Thanks very much, Tim. It's our pleasure. Matthew Rose now. Again, pings it long. Paul Furlong's being clambered all over in midfield. Richard Johnson tries to win it back for QPR. Referee says no foul on Furlong. It's Sheffield Wednesday breaking forward. Nohiri blocks it away. Furlong, though, is fouled. Now Mark Bircham dances his way to the halfway line. Less than 8 minutes to go on BBC London. Bircham loses possession, then goes to ground under a strong challenge, but a fair one according to Mark Clattenburg. And here comes Sheffield Wednesday. Matthew Rose misses one challenge. Wednesday still going, blocked by Gino Padula. Bircham has it, scrapes it to Ainsworth right-hand side. Just calm it down.
Just calm it down now. Let things develop. You've got a lot of players who need to take a breather. Do that by keeping possession in the right places. And out there will do nicely.
Put out a play by Richard Wood. Straight out, level with the edge of the Sheffield Wednesday penalty area. And it's a throw-in which Queen's Park Rangers will be able to take. Brentford 0-0 at the moment. Tranmere 2, Grimsby 1, Rushden 0, Port Vale 1, Chesterfield 0-0 with Luton, which means that, Rushden and Diamonds would move up to 51 points, and Grimsby would be in trouble. As Mark Bircham loses where the ball is, he just spins beyond it, and Sheffield Wednesday can come clear. What it really means is that Brentford would be safe. Let's go to Griffin Park, though. Brentford Bournemouth, BBC London's Tom Watt. Arthur Nahiri scrapes it clear here. Out of play it goes. 6.5 minutes to go in this commentary game at Hillsborough, and some of the Sheffield Wednesday fans starting to decide that maybe this is the time. Richard Johnson booms it away onto the head of Chris Carr again. Kevin Gallen has it for QPR on the halfway line here at Hillsborough. The R's leading by 3 goals to 1. Richard Johnson tries to curl it onto the path of Jamie Curtin. As it sails out of play. Well, it could be a good day in West London. Chelsea finishing second in the Premiership. Brentford safe. QPR heading to the First Division. 6 minutes to go. They lead by 3-1. And Sheffield Wednesday fans turn their attention to the board, to the machinations, to the takeover bids. That's where their ire is now being vented.
And there's a man up there famous in West London, Mr. K. Bates, Esquire.
Yes, he's been invited as someone who owns a box up there. QPR, though, here leading by 3-1. 5.5 minutes to go. Give us a call, whoever you support this evening. Wait for the phone lines to start going a little bit mad as Matthew Rose just scrapes a header away. He's had a great game. On the left-hand side, though, it's picked up by Brunt. I'll give you the number very shortly. Brunt's cross sails straight out of play. 020-722-4-2000. 020-722-4-2000. If there's a party and you want to be on it and there, give us a call. Be patient. Goal kick which Lee Camp will take, and the protests now from Sheffield Wednesday are continuing. There are divided loyalties here. Some people want the Mr. Bates potential takeover to happen, other people don't. There has been a lot of infighting, I'm led to believe, with Sheffield Wednesday fans. Sheffield Wednesday were assured of their safety last week with results, as Richard Johnson now has it in midfield for Queen's Park Rangers. Curts it forward, looking for Furlong. Furlong tries to get beyond Carr, who's muscling as well. I don't like this tactic of the ball being shielded out of play, because Carr stopped his run. In other circumstances, that would have been obstruction.
Each referee interprets things like that differently, so you just have to try it and see if you get away with it. Be careful where you do it.
Matthew Rose with a good strong header into midfield. Off the chest it goes of Mark Bertram, bobbles out of play. 4 minutes of normal time plus added on time to go at Hillsborough. QPR leading by 3-1. Sheffield Wednesday take themselves an extra 3 or 4 or 5 yards down that left-hand side, but it's just hacked away. Gallen will chase it all day. Kevin Gallen, who is QPR through and through, used to watch on the loft. It's only really as a player saw relegations and troubled times, even though he had that spell of 18 months or just under away in Yorkshire. This will be a big day for him. It's a header forward from Arthur Nohiri. Relegated from the First Division in 2001. The only player really who has been a constant since then and was part of that squad is Matthew Rose, playing this afternoon. Marcus Bignett was at the club, went away to Rushden Diamonds and came back. It's been 21 years since Queen's Park Rangers fans have celebrated a promotion back in 1983. It's Gino Padula with the throw. The Sheffield Wednesday fans are really now just turning their voices to protest, and Queen's Park Rangers won't mind as Jamie Curran looks to latch onto a through ball from Paul Furlong. Chris Carr helped mop it up at the back. Onto the chest of Cook it goes. 3 minutes on BBC London 94.9. I hope they've got the beer barrels stacked up in pubs in West London and down the Uxbridge Road this evening.
Just keep them there for the time being. Until we get that final whistle, nothing gets counted.
Now it's in midfield where Sheffield Wednesday have it. 2.5 minutes just over to go. Mark Robbins pokes it back. Evergreen Mark Robbins now. Edge of the centre circle, and it's turned over to this right-hand side where Terry Cook receives. Gino Padula across on the cover. Sheffield Wednesday have it. Dances down towards the byline. Gino Padula slips in with a challenge. And he gets run over by Terry Cook, but Gallen won't mind. He has it almost on the halfway line. Into midfield for Richard Johnson. Johnson shimmies past one challenge. Curran making a run down the left-hand side. He receives the pass from Gallen. Johnson offering an option. Paul Furlong, the only advanced man. Here's Richard Johnson. Forward towards Furlong, cut out by Chris Carr. Chesterfield 1, Luton 0. Chesterfield, late chance for them. Grimsby trailing Tranmere. Rushden and Diamonds losing. Chesterfield will stay up. Grimsby and Rushden and Diamonds will go down. Grimsby back-to-back relegations. 2 minutes to go plus added on time here. Everton 1, Bolton 2. Sheffield Wednesday have it. Left-hand side. Crossfield ball. Padula wins the header, but he only manages to find Terry Cook. Cook, right-footed cross. Lee Camp watches it sail over his bar. A few more seconds wasted. Minute and a half to go. Gary O'Reilly. South Yorkshire. In this part of South Yorkshire's blue and white anyway, but instead of being striped, it's about to be inverted. Will turn through 90 degrees and become blue and white hooped.
Doesn't matter where in the world it is. Just make sure you're there when it happens. And those guys at Loftus Road, they're here through us, and it's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. We were in Cardiff last May. The pain was felt by everybody. and now here's the chance to make it better.
Kevin Gallen, who felt that pain, finds Gareth Ainsworth, who was actually on the Cardiff side, or not in the side, he wasn't playing, he was suspended, but he was with the Cardiff players. But we just had a hint after that game you knew where he was going. Pictures are shown to us of Ken Bates. I wonder what sort of reaction that's got back at the beanbag. I can sort of imagine. Now on the left-hand side, Sheffield Wednesday attack again. Crossfield ball looking for Terry Cook. Headed away this time by Gino Padula. Whistles rang out. Curitan receives the pass from Johnson. Steams his way into the Sheffield Wednesday half. We're into the final minute of normal time. Gallen dispossessed, won't mind. Picked up this time by Ainsworth. Curves it down the flank looking for Gallen. Up against Brian Murphy. Has in field Ainsworth. Tries to flick it towards the hard-running former Wimbledon and Lincoln City man. Now at the back it's Brunt who clears it for Sheffield Wednesday. Blocked by Gareth Ainsworth. Leicester 3, Portsmouth 1, finishing with a flourish in their final home game. About to go into final minute, added on time. How many will there be? 2 minutes of added on time, I believe, as the ball is shown to us. 120 seconds separating Queen's Park Rangers with the First Division. Kevin Pressman, who's played a lot of his football, at least at that level, if not higher, clears it for Sheffield Wednesday. Richard Edghill, should I say, playing it right back for QPR, cushions a header on. Turned out wide by Kevin Gallen. 90 seconds to go. And then really you can crack open the champagne corks. Left back position for Sheffield Wednesday. Brian Murphy now turns in field. 3-1 the R's lead. Gallen, Furlong and an own goal from Chris Carr. Now it's Matt Rose. Magnificent this afternoon for me, Matt Rose. Has been absolutely tremendous. Nothing has got past him as the ball is boomed long, goes out of play. Kevin Pressman will try and keep it in. We're almost into the last 60 seconds. I think there's tears welling up in eyes away to our left-hand side in that stand. There are people who have maybe only seen hurt. We've heard texts this evening and this afternoon from fans who maybe have only experienced relegation, have had the bad times, the administration have seen the players disappear and be sold off, but what a spirit this set of players who are now here, what a spirit the manager has shown to get them here. It's in midfield where Richard Johnson booms it on. The referee handballs, free kick surely.
The referee's shaking his head because he's been hit by the ball. Get out of the way.
Paul Furlong wins it in midfield again. It's poked clear of him. Sheffield Wednesday have it right-hand side. Nothing will dampen the atmosphere now, though, as Terry Cook breaks forward. 20 seconds on the clock. Poked forward. Offside. Free kick, Queen's Park Rangers. Clear your lines, and you're in the First Division after 3 years of being out of that wilderness.
It's the right place for Queen's Park Rangers Division 1. Club that size, club with the support, club with the players. Just now wonder how they're going to be taken forward.
There goes the whistle, and Queen's Park Rangers are yet again a First Division team. Kevin Gallen runs immediately over. Sheffield Wednesday fans race on the pitch, but Gallen and Bertram, fans as boys, fans as men, heroes as men, celebrate with the Queen's Park Rangers fans to the left-hand side. Paul Furlong, after the hearing, Matt Rose, Gino Padula, the bench is up. Chris Day, whose place in the starting lineup was taken by Lee Camp, doesn't mind. Lee Camp, an on-loan player, celebrates as if he's played every single game of his career, which had lasted years and years with the fans. He's delighted. The bench are up. Ian Holloway can't contain his excitement. Martin Rowlands having his photograph taken too. They're dancing for joy. The unsightly scene of a rather fat man with his belly out won't be minded by most people. As Queen's Park Rangers head into the First Division after 3 years out, relegation 3 years hurt. There were 51 professional footballers on the books. Ian Holloway had to scrap a team and build a team and build the house that would send the squad and the side back into First Division football. They've done it this afternoon. Gallen, Furlong, an own goal. Shaw's effort doesn't really matter for Sheffield Wednesday. They have their own problems too. But Queen's Park Rangers, wherever you're listening, whether you're at the Beanbag, whether you're in South Yorkshire, if you're up and down the Exmouth Road, if you're anywhere in London or anywhere around the world, now you can open that bottle of wine, you can pop the champagne cork and celebrate. Sheffield Wednesday 1, QPR 3, the R's are in the First Division.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I will.